Okay, thanks for being so patient. Remember, I mentioned to you that by Friday I want to put all the screens together so I could show you the workflow and you could see, everything that you need to do an estimate and make sure this is a good project moving forward. Now, we're going to break this project up into two phases. Phase one is just the front end, um, getting it all done. And whether it's Angular, you're going to be using front end. I just need you to tell me after watching this video what type of technology you're going to be using to put all this together in the front end. Now, one of the cool things I think is in the HTML5 category and as well as the front end is a lot of these features are already built. Like there's already modules. So it's important to me we don't start from scratch, that we use already built modules to do some of the design work. And I'll show you that in just a minute. So step one is we are going to have a design template. And so the idea is I want to just click from scratch because that's where we want to start. So if we start from scratch, step two is we're going to be creating our campaign name and then our ad set name. So for example, if I want to create like 9 different ad sets to do split testing, that might be part of the same campaign. So it's just a way to organize. And then do I want static ads or motion ads? Now, static ads are what we currently do now in our system, and motion ads are going to be an advanced part of that. So I'm going to choose next. Now, we can choose all sizes, RTB only, and you can see that there's a little display ad for RTB, right? And mobile is RTB. So there's going to be 24. There's only 16 here now, but there's going to be 24 sizes that we create. And then you either click the sizes or select all or display ads. So when I click on this, this should be selecting only those ones with either the mobile or the display, or they can just select one, either one. Now to click next step, we go into something that we call the super ad. Now, and let me make sure hold on here. Okay, now the super ad is the model that we created that says, look, this is how you design it. It is not an actual ad. It's the input of the ad, and all that is mapped to all the other areas. So we have images. So these are your uploaded images. These are your photo images that are gallery. These are illustrations. And then if you click, it instantly appears on the right-hand side here. Now, once it instantly appears, you've got all kinds of things. You can be able to expand and contract it. You can rotate it all naturally here. Then you've got I think this is an undo and redo here. This isn't a 360. It's an undo and redo. And then so you've got a focus point, a blur. If we put that at 0, these will all be default to 0, and then a color. So just with any image, you can kind of get a focal point if you want. And then you have all kinds of overlays already done so that you can kind of just pick and choose, and the intensity is down here as well. So the idea is that in the effects of any image, right, then you've got lighting, brightness, and contrast, and then you've got a color, which that overlay color, either that or some type of gradient. And so advanced allows you to pick your own colors or and everything, or you can put a color ID in here. So the idea is that the first one, images here, if we click on it, is here's kind of everything. Here's your uploads, things you've uploaded, photos, and illustrations. Now, when we do this is going to be for a specific company. So, so the idea is that inside our system, we do it by company or by project, right? So when we're doing uploading, once we upload it, that's not going to be available in every single area. It's just going to be available in one. So if I upload it in this project for this company, that same upload would not be available for another company. So I don't think that really is going to impact you except for when we do the back end stuff. So the idea is all uploads. Now, I have to let you know that some of these things may change a little bit as we get feedback from you and feedback from the development of it. We might say, oh, this is better. So for example, when we do it for a company, we go to the company website and we scrape all the images off their website into a gallery. So we might put that under the uploads here, right? So we're uploading all the images from their website, so we can instantly use those images on the website inside their this already. So we've got a couple cool technologies we're going to be using. That doesn't matter about the front end. I just kind of letting you know a little bit extra information. So you can search or go by category based on our photos here, and then so that's photos, right? Now let me explain the frames here. Now typically there would be only one frame, but then you can click plus and you can add a frame and then add a frame and add a frame. And the idea is when you're adding a frame, every time you add a element, you're adding a layer. So for instance, if I add a text, that's a layer. If I add an image, that's a layer. If I add a shape, that's a layer. So the layers are all found here, right under this area. And the layers are the same throughout every single frame. Now you can hide them and you can turn on and off the transitions, but you cannot have more frames and more layers in one frame than the other. So the whole idea is we set our frames up, or we set our elements up that make up the layers, and you can move things, high or low, and then above or below, and then you can turn things off and turn things on. So if you technically wanted this text in just add frame 1, then you would turn it off and add frame 2, add frame 3, add frame 4. But the whole idea to make it really simple is when we're building an add frame image or a motion image where it's going from frame to frame to frame, maximum is 5 frames. The maximum the best way to do that is to keep it consistent all the way across. So what we're doing is we're doing one layout, but the same layout is just transitioning the text so we can tell a story. We're transitioning the images. We're transitioning the shape, right? So the idea is that as we go through this, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, we're just changing things out. Now, typically, people won't use that many frames. So it'll be like 2 frames or even 3 frames, right? Or if they want to blink, they would just put one versus 2, and they would go back and forth. So the idea is that we have we don't have it here, but there's a transition that is applied to everything. So that would be right here, and we've got 4 different transitions right now. One is going to be a fade. Let's see if it's here. There you go. A fade, a slide, a fly-in, a float. So that means it applies to this add frame or all the add frames, and I think that's going to be important for you to give us some feedback on. So like, what's the easiest? We have very advanced users that might want to, but we also have very basic users. So the idea that I have is, hey, when you do a fade, it applies to all the frames, right? It's what it does. And so if you've got a text, that's going to, whatever fade you have, if it's fade, then it's going to be fading out and fading in, right? So if you've got a slide, it's sliding out and sliding in. So there's none of this PowerPoint where you got to, take an element, you got to apply a fade, you've got to apply a fade out, and it gets really cumbersome, right? It's just all done automatically. You're either fading stuff in or fading stuff out. So what would that look like? It would look like, so if I want to keep this background image the whole time, right, I would turn the transition off, right? And then I would copy it from frame to frame. So if I click copy, I have to go probably back in here too. It says, hey, copy add frame 1 to add frame 2. So I want to copy that, and boom, this same image goes to add frame 2. And then, so as you're adding this each frame, you should be getting this too. Like, hey, you're just going to copy the next frame over, So the idea is that it's almost a duplicate of all the frames, and all you're doing is changing out one piece of information, like a text, right, that slides in and then slides out, or the image that slides in and slides out. So we don't want to get really complicated. We want to keep it really simple. Like I said, we're open to any suggestions that you say. Hey, for me, because you guys are good in front end, you say, look, I'd rather the fade in, slide out apply to each individual frame set. So if you've got a fly in on 2, then there's a fly out on the element here. Remember, they're all the same elements, right? I mean, the same layers. So what we're doing is we're applying this not just to the element, but it's actually to the layer, because the layer and the elements are the same, right? So this text one will always be throughout the every frame. There's going to have a text one. Every frame is going to be a shape one. So you can't add one to the other. And the way that we can do a little bit more trickiness is we just turn it off. Let's say, hey, we're going to turn text one off, and it's going to fade out. So so we're going to hide it in frame 2, but the transition allows it to fade out. So it's becomes really simple stuff, right? It's one transition to rule them all, and that means it's an instant fade in, it's an instant fade out, and then the transition time, which is right here, is either 1 second or 2 seconds, so they can control the transition that happens. And now that we have that, now we can go to text. So texts are going to already have a whole bunch of done for you text that you can just copy and goes right in here along with the color. And then you have another bar up here that's got all the bold, italicized, underline, highlight, size. We're missing one, which is the top to bottom, which is the line height, right? So we got the width here. Oh, there it is. Line height and letter spacing. So line height 100% right now, and then minus, I think, probably goes up to 200%, and then spacing. The spacing should probably be I don't even know what this should be, but so then you've got uppercase, lowercase, all caps, so you can see shadows, distance, color, and then your typical color, and then background color as well. Then you got your font size, font type, and size here. So pretty easy stuff. Here you can change the direction, flip, horizontal, rotate left, rotate right, or you can drag it manually here. The opacity is here, right? So this applies to everything: text, shapes, images, and then you've got your bring to the front, bring to the back, and this is the wrong icon for this. So it's just a little easier to say, hey, I want to send this to the front, send this back. You do the same thing here under the layers, right? You can drag up and drag down. It's just an easier way to control it, so you don't have to have multiple clicks. So so that's text, right? And then obviously you can add some basic text, and we probably want to change this a little bit where we're doing just a headline and then a subheadline and then a normal text description. So maybe we change these into 3, and because all these have 3 in here, so we do lots of different ones here, and then we have different shapes. So the idea is that if we go back to the very beginning, right, every shape we design in here should be in here. So let me keep going back all the way. Here we go. So this will be a shape, right? This will be a shape. These will be shapes here. So shape 1 and shape 2, these will be layers, right? This will be a shape that we've got in there. So everything you see here that we're like designing will be some type of shape that can be used, that we can actually build it from. So let's go back. So you've got your shapes, all kinds of shapes. Probably not going to be this big. We'll probably make the shapes a little bit smaller, where there's 4 per row. And then you've got the outline of the shapes as well. So you add a shape, and then you can add color, a gradient to it, a pattern to it if you wanted to. You can outline. You've got your outline of the shape, which is stroke or rounded corners, and then you've got grouping. So you can take multiple shapes and group them together. So so that's the idea of it. So now you got graphics. So these are more logos, icons, lines that you can use. Background, your background gradient or pattern. I mean, technically we might even want to put an image in here too. Like here are your image backgrounds, but I think that's probably better served by making the image a layer, right, as opposed to a background the whole time. I don't know. So maybe, right? There's so many ways to do this. So, but anyway, we might get some feedback from you, since you have a lot of experience in doing that, about what the better way is. And then the you know, the design. So the idea is that this is not this isn't fully equipped yet, so don't worry about design right now. We're still thinking through this. The idea of design is like we're doing different windows in here, right? Um, so, and again, I don't want to get into it because this isn't fully formed yet in my mind, so don't worry about design. But design is the idea is like, look, you've got all these elements here, right? And it's already built this way. What if we took the same elements, right? Like a shape, a graphic, an image, and we took another design that's got the same exact layers and just clicked it and boom, everything transforms, right? But it transforms with their logo, you know, their image, you know, and then you just adjust it. So I'm still formulating that, but the idea is that you can easily change, like, oh, this is my text, my image, but then you just click the design here and it changes everything for you. So again, this is not finalized, this design area yet. It's just an idea. So let's just stick in the front end with these 5 as we move forward. So now that we've got and we haven't built the ad yet, right? This is just designing it. The idea is that now we go to the next step. Obviously, there's crop here. Crop should not be showing for, you know, shapes, or it should show for graphics. It should show for images, right? So there'll be a few things here that, you know, we'll add or subtract based on what they're choosing. Copy is only where we're copying frames. And then we could also do that with an element too, I guess, if we wanted to, but I'm not too sure we want to. I think we stick it to frames. Paste, I'm not too sure we're going to use paste at this point in time. And this is undo and redo and then delete. And then we're going to delete a frame. So deleting is frame. Now, if I believe what we should be doing on delete is going to the layers and saying, hey, if I want to delete it, we probably should add a delete button here, and it deletes it from everything else. So, so I don't think we've differentiated at this point the difference between deleting a frame and deleting a layer. So, so I don't know, maybe one of the things we need to do is allow this to be with elements, copy elements, and then when we hover over, there's maybe a drop down of copy, delete, and you can do that with each frame. So I have to think through that for a minute, because I just realized that, you know, in our UI we haven't really differentiated the two. So we'll figure that out. Then I click next step, and now you can see here's what we create. We create all these different ad sizes already. And so what's happened is each of these technically it's a 300 by 250 is the first one, right? This is 300 by 250. So technically speaking, all these elements are already done in our templates and mapped so they look really good in the different sizes, right? So obviously when you start from scratch, this would not happen. If you start from scratch, all these are going to be blank and they're just going to have the elements in here, right? And it's going to look really weird. So what you got to do is you got to click on each one, right? And then you're going to have to do the exact same thing and adjust everything to look good. Then you have to go to the next one and the next one and the next one. And then you got to go to each ad frame and each ad frame and each ad frame. So this is a lot of work in setting something up from scratch if you're going to do every single size. But that's the beauty of what we're doing is for our customers, right? We already have this done, right, in our current software. So we've already mapped all these sizes to all these. So all they do is change. They just change it here, click next, and boom, it's already updated on everything. So the setup is difficult, right, if we do it from scratch, but the whole idea is our customers aren't doing ever from scratch. They're always using our templates, and it's just click once and boom, you've changed everything so you have every size that you want. So the idea is you can go in here, adjust, move, change, even change the text, right? You can change, if you change the text here to, instead of voice update, it says new voice, it will still say voice update here, still say voice update here. So you can still change. Now it's still the same element, right? It's still the same layer, but it's just a different text. That's okay. This could be a different picture. This could be a different shape, right? The whole point is that it is a layer and it's still a shape. This is a layer and it's still an image. It's a layer and still a text. But if it's a different one for a different design, that's okay, right? If someone wants to change it, because maybe if we get down here, it says, your voice, it's hard to read that one, but let's say it's your application, right? Your application might fit in this one, but it's not going to fit in this one. It might say your app in this one. So the idea is that, you might have to spend a few minutes to go in and adjust the text here, adjust the logo. You just kind of look at them and go, okay, which one needs a little bit of fixing up? So the idea is you kind of scroll down and everything looks really good, right? Then you come up here and you click approve, right? And then you click play and it plays through each one of them. And then you can kind of look at each one and go, ooh, this is really good. This looks, really good. Makes a lot of sense. Now, one of the things that's really going to be important is for you to design the text in a way where it is static. So, for example, voice update. What if I put 3 words? So let's say my template, right, is 3 words, and I replaced the 2 words with 3. So if I replace 2 words with 3, what is that going to look like here, right? There was 2 words I'm replaced with 3. Is it going to resize to say, look, we're going to get all 3 words in this box for you, right? Or is it going to be static for left and top, but it's going to go down? Saying, look, the 3rd word is going to go down, which is going to overlay on top of your app, and you're going to have to adjust this somehow. Or do we resize it? And so that's a little bit of the research I want to ask you to do, and that I'm going to be doing, to say what is the best solution so that as we change a 2-word area to a 3-word area, what does that look like? And obviously the smartest way to do this is if it's 4 words here, you replace it with 4 words. If it's 2 words, it's 2 words. If it's a number, it's a number. If it's an image, it's an image, right? You want to just replace it, exactly with the exact same. If not, it gets a little weird, because if you place a 2-word area with 4 words, then your voice update, get it now, is overlaid on your app, and then you got to go and adjust each individual one. So so the idea is that we take the words that we have and probably resize them. So if we put 3 words in here, right, we would still keep maybe the boundaries and just resize the font to make those words fit. So or maybe we have a button here, right, and you can adjust it, like fit words, boom, and boom, they all readjust to fit. Or open text, and then the text opens up and all 4 words move. So hopefully that makes sense. But we're going to have the exact same features in here that people can go in and adjust each individual ad and edit it independently with all the lighting effects. So remember, they don't need the sidebar anymore because they have the elements, right? When they click on the element, right, it's going to appear here. So the same way that we were adding text, right? This is how we add it. Technically, if you add it, you don't need it. You just need to click on it, and then you're going to get the text bar up here. Or if you click on an image, you're going to get the image bar here that you can change it. I'm sorry, you can. Oh, that's right. If it's an image, I don't think we did that. Let me see. We did. If you clicked on an image, right? These are the effects, but you can't change out the image. Oh, that's interesting. Because you got the lighting. So how would you change it out? Maybe you double click on it and then we do a pop-up gallery. So maybe that's it. So when you're in this part, you double click on it, we do a pop-up gallery, and that's the same gallery as you see here, right? But just in a pop-up area, because we're just changing it out. So what we might want to do is say, like, before and then after, and the after one is on frame 2. So so we just change it out. So so that might be a little easier to do. Is just or we do it the other way, which would be one click. Oops, let's see here. One click opens up the effects. 2 clicks opens up the gallery on the left-hand side here. So that might be just as effective instead of doing a pop-up. So one click gives you your effects, just like one click would give you your text bar, and then 2 clicks would give that. So you can see here we're still a little work in progress, but I wanted to give you the entire workflow of front end, knowing that some of it may change a little bit, but at least you have an idea. So the idea is you can click play and play what's in here. Now you click save. Once you click save, it goes back. Then you play the whole thing. It looks good again, and your ads are good to go. Approve all banners, and then you have an approval, and they're all done for you. You can download them to your hard drive. You can download the display ads only. You can create create another one to copy this exact same thing you did, because you might just want to change out the image, right? And then create another one or go back to your dashboard. So so pretty straightforward. So that's what we're going to be doing in the front end only. So last thing I want to mention to you is that a lot of this is already done. There's lots of modules out there for lighting, for color, for shapes, for graphics. And the last thing I want to talk about is snap gridding. I didn't put it in here, but I think whenever you move an element, let me go to graphics. Whenever you move an element, there's another element on the line. We're going to need you to build the grid that, let me see if I can open up PowerPoint here so you can kind of see. So see when I it's very hard to see actually on black. Maybe I can do let me do a new, there we go. So see the grids here, the red. So like when I put it together, and again, this is all coding that's already done out there. But like you can see here, as I move it, I can oh, that's aligned, right? It kind of snaps a little bit there. That's aligned in the middle, and then if I go this way, you can see, okay, that's aligned. Now if I make it really small, right? It's got the middle snap, the end snap. It's got the middle. Whatever element it's touching, it kind of shows me. And if I put a few of them in here, let's do a few of these. Oh, it's I actually have to add. Okay, so you can see here, but it's snapping with this side, this side, this side. It helps me really get alignment on stuff that I'm trying to accomplish. So I'm hoping this you find this module. If not, let me know. But that's what we want to, is we want the ability to just kind of show the alignment grids and rulers, and then it'd be able to snap if we can, especially when it gets to, like, I'm trying to align that with that, and this one, if I want to do like 4 squares like that. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's about it to give you a good idea. If you have any questions, let me know. Give me some feedback. I'll do my best to answer them. And just you're in the top 3 running here. And so again, I thank you for your patience. I know this has been a while, but you can see this is a pretty good sized project. We're not only going to be asking you to do the front end, but once the front end is done, you've done a great job on the front end. Then we'll move to the back end, and you actually build the engine with the API stuff that we can send to an engine or a engine server to create it. Now we've already got this, but we're going to need these endpoints of like all this data to be built. And say, look, here's the image, here's all the sizes. Send it to our server so it can be created. And then and because every time we create something, we want to save it so we can pick up where we left off. So if we want to create another split test, we can just change out one image, right? So we don't want to always start from our ads. Every single time we design something and touch something, we want all that saved. But again, that's phase 2, which is the back end, which is, phase 1 is just UI, right? No saving, no APIs, just saving it. But I want you to build it in a way that it's easy to create an API to send this information to the server to be created. All right. Thanks so much, and I look forward to getting your feedback. Now, the last thing I just want to ask you is just to give me some type of estimate, right? Is it you, a team? I think things have changed in 2 months. So what is it going to take you to approximate? I'm not going to hold you to the final number here, but just say, hey, this is because of we can get this module, this module, this module. I can do this, I can do this. Putting it all together, it's going to take 3 weeks or 2 weeks or 2 months. It's you give me the estimate based on the estimates of what you're giving and what you think you can do. We're going to go move forward with you based on you having the best opportunity to give us the confidence that you can do this project. All right. And there's a lot more, by the way. This is not the only one project. We have 3 more projects just like this right behind it, but this is kind of the first project down the road. So if you do really well with this, we have a lot more work in store. So because we want to, we're going to take the same technology and we're going to create a different strategy out of it, and then we're going to do it again, and then we have 2 other projects we need front end done for as well that are pretty big projects. So all right, look forward to hearing back from you. Thanks so much, and again, thank you for being so good to us and being so patient over the last 2 months.